Well, you, sir, you are 100% our idiot of the fucking week.
Harvest here. Oh, harvest there. Oh, do that.
Literally grabbed a shovel, stood in front of Oscar, and smacked him in the dick as hard as it possibly could. Welcome back, idiots. Welcome back to the podcast that feels like an itch you can't reach. You know, it's bothering you that you can't get to it, but when you do, it's nothing but pure satisfaction. It's been a week since we last got together, and here we are back again. I've been waiting for this one, because as you would all know, Melbourne just happened. We've got a full race to review, a prediction scorecard to settle, a genuine argument to have about whether these new cars are the best thing to happen to F1 or an absolute circus. And then we turn straight around and preview China, which is this weekend, baby. Sprint weekend too, first of the season. So we got a lot, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it together. I'm Ollie, and speaking of all together, here with me today are my fellow idiots, Tay and Ev. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello. Ladies.
Okay, look, Digby's still not here, 2 weeks running now.
You're
I've
welcome.
moved through the stages of grief and come out the other side. He's either on a beach somewhere blissfully unaware, or he watched Oscar Piastri crash on the recon lap before the race even started, decided that that was the vibe, and pulled a sympathy DNS, did not start, of his own. Either way, Tay, Ev, carrying the show again, and they don't even know it yet. Or do you, boys? Do you know that you are carrying this show? This is all on you now.
Well,
Well, I'm carrying it because I'm up 2-1.
No!
No, you're not. It's 1-1.
One all, you
You dumb
idiot.
fuck. It's 1-1-0.
I'm pretty sure I'm up 2.
Well, we've
You
only had
definitely
2
aren't.
episodes. Sorry, guys, for everybody that's wondering what the fuck Evan is talking about. He's actually referring to our frantic quiz, which
I
we'll
won last
obviously
week.
revisit. He won last week, and Digby
Yeah.
won the first week. There's only
That
been
didn't
2
count.
episodes.
Yeah.
Right, he's switched on. This is going to be fun.
Your
So here's
math
the
is
game plan
amazing.
for today. Here's the rundown. We've got the full Melbourne review, the results, the chaos, the prediction scorecard that I can tell you right now has aged very differently for each of us. And the big one, what is actually going on with these 2026 cars. Then you got Hush, you've been paying attention, the China edition. And Tage, as we've just touched on, Digby and Ev are on 1 each for the quiz. This is your moment, big guy. From there, we're going to hit the back straight for all the full China GP preview, and we're going to close out with what's Verstappening, and there's a bit Verstappening this week. But before any of that, a pod favorite, the Idiots Icebreakers. For those new here, this is just a quick, redundant run at getting to know my fellow guests here. Not for me, I know these two, but for you, so you feel closer, or at least more confident in picking which one of us you love, which one of us you hate, or genuinely couldn't give a fuck about. So let's go. Hey, of course, you're
Yeah.
going to be first.
I know.
Because I know you love it, and I love watching Ev watching you squirm. And now everybody can watch everybody because we're on video as well. So listen, Tay, F1 have appointed you as the official ambassador to convince Max Verstappen that the 2026 cars are actually fun. You have one conversation, one chance, and Max is already in a bad mood. What's your opening line, and how long before he hangs up on you?
All right. Firstly, I have so much PTSD from you calling me boring last week.
I didn't call you boring. I said you're a shit storyteller. I said
We
you're
were-
a
100%.
We didn't say you were boring. We were just thinking it.
I have so much fucking. Secondly, I'm
Tay's
trying
like,
to.
I don't read our social comments because I'm
Yeah.
worried somebody's going to say
Yeah, I
something
know,
about
exactly. I
me.
don't need to hear that shit. Secondly, I don't know why the FIA would appoint me. I'm fucking
Well, the
the worst
F1.
choice. F1, whatever.
No, come on.
Worst choice.
See,
Um,
this is why you cop shit. You come in like with your tail between your legs.
No,
Come in
that's
bravado, mate.
rubbish.
Fucking just
That's
slap
rubbish.
your dick
That's
down.
Hello,
rubbish.
Come
Taylor.
on.
This is
Straight up.
Mohammed bin Salman. A
I
job
need
offer
you to
for
come
you.
in.
You're
Yeah,
the one I've
Peter.
chosen. You're
Come
the
on,
one
Tay.
who's-
What are you doing? Opening line to Max Verstappen. Could be one day on this show. You never know.
Yeah,
what are you
no,
saying?
I guarantee you, he would not pick up for me. He'd see he'd see my name on
Tay-
the number and be like, "Fuck this dude! I know exactly
No.
what he's gonna ask me."
Oh, he's already saved your name? He's already saved your
Yeah, he
number? He's
already
like,
knows
do
me.
not
He already
pick up.
knows me.
Yeah.
Do not
Like,
pick up.
He already
This
knows me.
boring
He's
cunt.
already, and
Tay,
that's exactly what it says.
Tay, have you
Yeah.
ever played improv? Have you ever done
Nah,
improv?
fuck
Do you
it. I hate
understand
that
that
shit.
improv is
I
about
hate it.
yes and?
Yeah, I
of
know.
course you
I
do.
hate
You're
it.
fucking terrible.
I
Yeah,
hate it.
right. Okay. All right, so that's it. So
Yeah.
Tay
He
has
did
been
not pick up.
ghosted. Yeah, he's been screened by Max, and we've moved on. So, Ev, your turn. Charles Leclerc. He's on lap 8 of the Melbourne GP and mid-battle with George Russell for the lead. Gets on the radio and says, by the way, this is a direct quote, "This is like the mushroom in Mario Kart. You're the armchair expert, apparently. If you could pick one Mario Kart power-up to deploy in an actual F1 race, so just one, what is it, and which driver on the grid are you aiming it at?"
Banana.
Did Lance Stroll begin in the pits? Was he already in the pit? Was he not there at
No,
the
no.
start?
No, they were both
Or
on
he-
the grid.
Well, he finished, but he was down like 11
15,
laps or something.
15.
Yeah. And so while he was in the garage mid-race, I'd like to give to you, Lance, a star power-up. So he's like, the car's like raised up, and then they're like,
Yeah.
and he's like zooming around.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
he's on-
yeah. No. I'll tell you why. I'm gonna, unfortunately for Lance, he's gonna cop it here. But the reason why you've given him the star is because the star is the only power up in Mario Kart you can get where you can just drive through other cars. It just fucking plows them out of the way.
I just want him to feel like
He's part of the team.
He's a star.
I want him.
Daddy,
I really want
please.
him to have a really good car. Like,
Yeah. Who, Lance?
yeah,
No, you don't.
I do. I kind of feel like
okay.
he's such a
All right,
fail son.
we'll touch on
And
that.
I want him.
Alright,
I really
alright,
want him
alright.
to like to have.
You want
all
him
of
to
the-
prove that he's not just a rich daddy's son
It's
that's got a
it's
drive.
not
No.
nepotism.
I want him to not have the excuse. Well, I never had a good car.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Let's be
it's
clear.
very
You
different.
don't want him to have a good car so
I-
that he does well. You want him to have a good
I-
car so he can continue to be shit and he can't use it.
Bring
Look at that.
Mohammed.
Right. All right.
Max?
Yeah. Max, pick up.
Yeah.
Right. Digby's not here. Last week I put Digby's question to you guys. So again, I know he's watching. I know he's listening. Ev, Tay, I'm going to get you to pretend to be him and answer the question. You know, Tay, maybe you want to offer something to this one or leave it for Ev. That's up to you.
All right. I'm a victim. Go. I'm ready.
Melbourne,
I'm in the
was
mindset.
carnage, right? Melbourne was carnage. It had a bit of everything, which we'll obviously get into shortly. But what would Digby have been eating and hence spat out when he saw Oscar crash 40 minutes before the race start?
Fucking ice.
Ice? You're talking about like meth ice? Or
No, just ice. Just fucking
or he's
ice.
just
I-
sitting there
crunching
crunching
it.
on ice?
I think he
As
would have
he's
been
drinking
eating
his soda.
a $10 protein bar.
Oh, yeah. Big Dig smashing the protein. He is a gym guy.
is a
He's
gym
looking
guy.
good. He's for
He
those
needs to
that
have
don't know,
something.
and part of the icebreaker stuff is obviously getting to know these guys. And for those that aren't aware, Digby is can we call it in fact, this is not a question for you to answer, Ev.
It's
But he
amateur.
does wrestling. He does
I'll
amateur
do it
pro wrestling.
out of love for the
What's
game.
amateur
go on.
pro?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to lower him to try and say that he's just a bloke that wears underwear
I
in a
think he
ring.
gets paid to do it.
He actually gets paid. I think he does. He gets paid to do it.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. He looks great. Before we get on to our run through of results, I want to cover what's probably been the biggest talking point through and since Sunday. And I'm going to miss Digby for this because I actually want an argument here.
Mhm.
I do believe there are two genuinely legitimate sides to this. So what we know is that the 2026 regulations were supposed to be the future of F1. Closer racing, cars that actually fight each other. And after one race weekend, the drivers are in open revolt. And so are the online communities, and ours too, right? So we posted a carousel of what some of the drivers had to say after the race. And it went very loud with over 50,000 views alone just on TikTok and hundreds of engagements. So people have a lot to say about the view on the cars and particularly the driver's view on the cars. I'm going to throw to you guys shortly, but I need you to bear with me because I want to ensure that we're giving our listeners the context to form a view and actually maybe even for you two to get some context in case you aren't up to speed. But here's the case against, right? So I'm going to start with the quotes because they're extraordinary coming from the people that are actually driving these things. So you got Lando out there saying, we've gone from the best cars ever made in F1 to probably the worst. It sucks. You've got Max, who's said multiple things, but particularly over the weekend, not to Tay, particularly over the weekend, that he's not having any fun at all. Perez has come out. Similarly, I think Ocon talking about it being too artificial. And perhaps the most damning, I wouldn't say is damning, but certainly kind of maybe the joke of it all was with Leclerc getting on the radio and say this is like a mushroom in Mario Kart when obviously he deployed his energy. His engineer replied that that's a funny one, but he obviously wasn't joking. And the evidence backs them up, right? These cars were visibly crawling on the straights as the batteries drained. F1 cars decelerating on a straight mid-race because they've run out of power. And it wasn't just ugly, right? It was dangerous. So Norris flagged after the race that he expects a big crash because the speed differentials between a car that's deploying electrical power and one that isn't are so unpredictable, right? And we actually nearly saw it. And again, you got to check out our socials. But Colapinto very nearly collected Lawson at the start because of exactly this, where he had great ability to utilize his energy whilst Liam didn't, and Liam was almost caught napping. And honestly, this is the first time I've looked at it and gone, Colapinto can drive, because fuck, what he did to get around Lawson at that moment is unbelievable. In fact, you see it in the post-race celebration where the podium are in, I guess, their debriefing room. And it's the first time they've seen it. Their reaction is unbelievable. You know, both Charles and George winced quite visibly. So the F1 front-footed it. I've got some more goss to talk through that later about this, but they tried heroing the fact that there were 120 overtakes in the Melbourne race, nearly 3 times more than last year. But in response to that, a lot of commentary has called them out for not being racing moves. They were drivers going past fast cars that had simply run out of battery. Not overtaking, but navigating.
Yeah.
And even IndyCar got in on the trolling. So Chip Ganassi Racing posted on X, formerly Twitter, quotation, battery management, downshifting on straights. Yeah, we don't do that here. We race. Right? So that's...
Go fuck yourself, Chip.
that's the case against. Well, I think I know where Ev's leading. And here's the case for, right? Russell and Leclerc swapping the lead 7 times in 9 laps was genuinely brilliant television.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie when watching it. And I actually think that would have been an incredible race to live stream, because the first 10, 20 laps,
Yeah, exactly.
I was shouting at every corner.
Yeah.
You know, it was genuinely exciting. Kind of lead battle that the previous era of cars, for all their technical brilliance, simply just didn't produce with any regularity. Hamilton said he personally loved it. Leclerc himself also said there's more strategic thinking involved now. You know, it's not just about the tires and obviously the degradation and the use of aero. It's now also about energy, that every boost activation obviously has a cost, and that he thinks it will develop into something really interesting. And Russell had the most pointed response to the critics of the whole weekend. For instance, in retort to Norris, he said, well, if Norris was winning, I don't think he'd be saying the same thing, which I think is a very fair point.
Yeah, there's truth behind that for sure.
But here's the crucial bit. Melbourne is arguably the worst circuit on the entire calendar for this formula. Low energy recovery, high energy demand, tight and twisty. Shanghai this weekend is the polar opposite. The cars could look completely different by Sunday. We might be having an entirely different conversation this time next week. So I'd like you to pick a corner. This is a disaster, fix it now, or give it time. Who wants to go first?
I think there's still time because it was the first race. We don't really know what everything will be like as people get used to how these cars work.
Did you enjoy the race?
I think I'm in the same boat as what you were it was great in the first 20, which I think for sprint races is going to be fucking amazing. I think sprint races will be really exciting to watch. It's almost like, you know, and I'll do an Ev effort here where he always talks about another sport to make his point sound relevant.
He goes a long way round, though.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I'm going to use basketball, but let me explain what basketball is.
Yeah, exactly. But if you think of, what is it, IPL, the cricket, the T20 and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. The T20, yep.
They're so much more fun. Like, it used to be like the test cricket and the one days, and the one days were fun to watch. Now it's almost another step where it's now the T20, where it's just like the 20 overs and it's just a slugfest. That's what I think these cars will be amazing at with the sprints. When it comes to the longer races, you already saw it in the back end of Oz, where all of a sudden you have the 4 cars, Ferrari and Mercedes, where they just then fucking dominated. Then I think that you're going to lose people in that second half of the race. I think
Yeah,
generally,
yeah.
like
But
you
let's
still
be fair, like that's no different to what's
no,
previously
100%.
happened, right? Like,
But their
clean air is
argument,
clean air.
yeah. But
Yeah.
their argument with what these cars are meant to represent is to almost offset what has happened in the past,
Yes.
and we're not
Yes.
seeing that. I
No,
know it's one race,
early,
but
yeah.
like, yeah.
Yep.
So,
So you on
give
the
it a
fence,
few.
or you're like, hey, it was great. Let's just give it some more time.
I think I'm more that.
Don't
for
sit
now.
on the fence.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
now.
more that.
Okay. That's a fence, but okay.
Yeah, only because I think they will be great for sprint races.
Interesting.
I
Well, let's
know
get on to
how
this.
it
I
is.
want to
Yeah.
talk sprints shortly because obviously,
Yeah.
as I alluded to, we've got the first sprint weekend. Ev, I want to actually connect the IPL point that Tay was talking about to you before you get started, because you are a genuine long-standing F1 fan, right? You've been involved, you've watched F1, you've loved F1 for so long, which is ultimately why you became our armchair expert. And if I'm not misreading the room, what feels like majority of people that have a problem with the new era cars are those from the good old days, the glory days, those that are really, really bought into the technical and I guess rawness of racing rather than maybe what the Drive to Survive fans of today look like. And my point being is, with IPL, the original Test cricket lovers fucking hated 2020 cricket when it came out.
Yeah.
Right? And then they were like,
I
love cricket, so I watch all cricket. And now they watch just as much 2020 as, as they would Test match, because they don't want to not watch cricket, right? It's just a shorter format, but it's still cricket. Is this an older fan thing, or where are you? Do you like it or do you hate it? Where are you sitting at the moment? Did you love the race?
Idea. I like the first half of it.
Yep. But we've all sat there and said that previously, that we loved the first half of a race and nothing happened in the second half, right?
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting that Lewis is really good off the bat, and the same with Fernando. And we're going to talk about Aston Martin later on, but he did up to 10th. They didn't show it whatsoever, so I don't know how he did it.
The broadcasting was awful.
Yeah.
The broadcasting was really bad. They missed lots of overtakes were done in the little picture-in-picture.
Yeah.
And it's like, why aren't you showing that? But
yeah.
So I think it's a really impressive start if these kind of old-fashioned style races drivers are succeeding already. And give Fernando a consistent car, and that 10th could have turned into top 5 pretty easily.
Yeah.
So,
and then there's even more excitement, right? Because there's more people.
So anyway,
and you throw Max in on the weekend,
to kind of bring down the temperature. This was all anticipated, that because Australia is so misrepresentative, and that because China is the exact opposite, because it's such a long circuit, that you just kind of like looking at your watch as they're going down the back straight, and then just like one big break. And so they're going to run out of energy by the halfway point of the back straight. So what lift and coast is going to look like for the last 600 meters,
it's like they get to the end of the straight and they're stopping.
Yeah. And so anyway, the F1 is reevaluating after China, looking to bring in changes for Japan.
Well, so to that point,
yeah,
as it stands, the FIA are refusing to pick a side for now, which I think you two are leading one way, but you're asking for more time, which is fair enough. But by all accounts, they're not panicking yet. They are, to your point, Ev, considering changes that would look to be brought in post this weekend's race. So it's very much a big let's watch this space.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what those changes look like. Because it's not like they can do much, because it's not like, hey, all right, now it's going to be 75 to 25.
Well, no, they've already
changed
one thing, which was
the amount of deployment, the 35% on the battery aspect.
Well, you've also got teams better understanding their cars and the strategy. I think it's very telling that Ferrari and Mercedes were the only two teams who seemed to have a strategy for harvesting electricity. They were doing it at different points than everybody else. That would take so much money and like team power, like of people crunching,
as in planning and crunching numbers and data. Yeah.
That's the thing. It was like during the race. During the race, it was sort of like it seemed to be one engineer, a couple of engineers were like, you decide when you're going to use it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then other discussions were happening
we'll tell
where
you in your ear
we'll
when
tell
to
you
use it.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least they're earning their keep. Hey, all that said and done, let's actually talk about the race. So round 1 of 2026 and get our listeners up to speed in our very own rear view review. So starting at the top and coming home first and second in a 1-2 that will have sent a very clear message to the rest of the paddock was that of Mercedes. So George Russell on top, Kimi Antonelli in second. And look, the bookies had George's favourite going in. We spoke about this last week. Mercedes looked strong in testing, but a clean 1-2 from the team on the first weekend of a new regulation era. George started from pole. He led 35 of the 57 laps, and he won by just under 3 seconds over Kimi. But it wasn't a Sunday drive, right? And we're going to talk about Ferrari in a little bit. I've got a question for you guys, but they were right with him for a fair chunk of that race. And Antonelli, look, this is pretty special. He put the car in the wall in FP3 on Saturday, and somehow his team got that turned around in like an hour and a half for him to then get back on track and qualify second, locking out the front row. And he followed it up with his second in just his second year. So keep up with all those seconds, but pretty impressive. Gents, double-barreled question. Did you see Toto after the race with a winner's T-shirt on? I mean, come on. They had T-shirts printed and ready to go
and it was
before
good
the race.
quality T-shirts. It wasn't one of your fucking...
It wasn't a Sheen T-shirt, right? No. They were that confident to blow all that
like
cash.
a football jersey.
Does this Mercedes result scare you for the rest of the season? Ev, I'm going to start with you. You're a diehard Merc fan. Yes, no. Are we at risk of another new hybrid generation where Mercedes dominated for so long? Because I think, and maybe I'm unfair, but I think one dominant constructor, not just for a period of years, but in a year, is bad news for the sport.
Sure. That's the same for any, what was it, a couple of years ago, Man City.
I knew you'd go to soccer.
Won the league before Christmas or something.
And
it's bad
like, who gives
for the fans.
fuck?
It's bad for the sponsors. It's bad for anyway. Yeah, look, it's these cars in their development and design have a like a ceiling, so you can only ever develop it so much before you stop getting any sort of a benefit. So we don't know how close Mercedes is to their quote unquote ceiling.
How true, by the way, do you think the rumor is coming out of the weekend that they were actually still holding back? That once they got, did you hear that? Did you lads hear that? I didn't. They apparently, and Ev, I'm going to fuck this up. I'm going to butcher it. And again, let's not pretend we know about it if we don't. But there was something about the fact that if a team wins by so much, it unlocks more development capacity for other teams, or there's something around that idea. I don't know if you know about that.
I don't know about. I've never heard that.
Okay.
What I can say is that oh my God. Yeah, that's silly. That wouldn't make any sense.
Do you genuinely believe? Again, I think it's worth iterating that I believe Mercedes have like another 6 races before any of their combustion ratio shit needs to be readdressed.
Yeah,
that
it's
FIA
June.
vote.
It's June.
So nothing's happening, right? It's a question of whether or not the other teams can catch up.
I think if the rumors are true in regards to what they're able to achieve and what they've done internally with getting a higher ratio out of what is allowed when it's at full temperature engines, then that's a huge advantage. How that looks,
apparently,
allegedly, but how that would look come when the FIA is able to then test at different levels and see if that is the case or not.
So what we're all saying is no other team has a chance. The only way anything stops Mercedes from being so dominant is if they trip up on themselves.
Yeah,
that's what I'm hearing.
I think
you guys don't have confidence in the development of the other teams.
No, I think Ferrari saw on the weekend, and I know we'll touch on it. I think Ferrari's probably the closest bet right now.
All right. So what you're also telling me, is that Toto has printed a winner's T-shirt for every race this year. He's got them all ready to go. Fucking Sheen just got their biggest order. All right, look, let's round out the podium because to Tay's point and touching on Ferrari, in third spot was Charles Leclerc. Lewis was actually right behind him, and I genuinely mean right behind him. Lewis claimed after the race that if there had been another 2 laps, maybe thereabouts, he would have got him.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at that and thinking best of the rest, well, you're not wrong. But Ferrari and many fans, including those on this podcast, will likely be thinking that they could have had more. So touching on Charles first, he started in P4, and by the first corner, he was leading the race. That's the new regs doing something genuinely wild, something you called out last week, Ev, due to their smaller turbo, that torque delivery, the energy deployment off the line. And, suddenly Leclerc had gone from fourth to first before most people had blinked. And from there, it became one of the great lead battles in recent memory. At least in my time, I have to admit, I'm a Drive to Survive fan, as in, that's when I started watching Formula One because of Drive to Survive. But he and Russell swapped positions 7 times in those first, I think it was 9 or 10 laps. Lewis had a brilliant start, and had he not gone wide, I think it was the first corner, he well and truly could have been fighting Charles in second, or at least making life a lot harder for George. But, and there is always a big but with Ferrari, what ultimately did them in was the virtual safety car, right? I think it was lap 12 or 13. So Red Bull's Hadjar, who had been having a brilliant weekend and really taking on that kind of banishment of the number 2 Red Bull seat. He was retired. That brought out the virtual safety car, the first of, I think it was maybe 3 or 4, wasn't there? Or 2? Okay.
I thought there was just 2.
What we know is Mercedes pitted under it in what ultimately became their one and only pit stop. They managed to last on 40-odd tyres for both George and Antonelli. Ferrari, however, stayed out. The strategy team, Fred, obviously the boss of Ferrari, they all believed and came out afterwards that they had the pace to hold on, but obviously they didn't. Russell and Antonelli came out on new rubber, hunted both of the Ferraris down, and that was the race. Gents, the question that Ferrari have to sit with this week is, was that a strategy error, or was it a gamble that didn't come off? Why didn't they at least pit one car and split the strategy? I mean, I've been around in F1 long enough. Now, it's so easy to sit here in our armchairs. It's like those wonderful videos that were doing the rounds during the Olympics, where an Olympian would fuck up and then it scanned back and the guy watching was this massive fat guy eating, goes, huh, what a fucking loser. That's like us. It's like, oh, we would have done better. But Ev, seriously, why wouldn't they have split the strategy then?
They're just not very smart, are they?
That's the shortest answer you've ever given.
Well, I think he believed it too, right?
Yeah.
And look, if this was the first time, I'd be sitting here going, if you can't say that, these are people that are getting paid so much money who are so smart and intelligent. But fuck me, this keeps happening with Ferrari. This keeps happening.
I can only believe that this is an organizational culture problem. Where
that's been the argument the last 10 years.
You look at Mercedes, except for the last 4 years where they've been just awful. They always had not just the best strategy, but the most cutthroat.
What, better than Red Bull? I think Hannah Schmidt over at Red Bull has proven that they're fucking they are razor sharp when it comes to strategy.
But then it's a lot easier if you're only having to strategize for one car.
Okay, fair enough.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Shots fired. Yeah. All right, Tay.
I mean, I think Lewis might have gotten the podium in the end rather than Charles. I don't know.
He pitted, you think?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't necessarily think they would have been able to beat Merck, but it would have been a much closer, at least for a longer period of time than the inevitable
actually,
result.
to that point, right? So I don't think the new regs. In fact, actually, I think the new regs suit being in clear air better than previously, because when you're in clear air, you're not redeploying energy to fight. If you're out in the lead, you're not having to constantly use your battery to
Well, it depends if you have to defend.
No, but but George wasn't defending against anyone.
No, for sure.
Do you know what I mean? Ferrari.
There was a time early on when Lewis looked like he was gaining on Charles.
And
I thought, this is going to be really good if Charles can get, and this is the whole idea of having a rear gunner.
Yeah.
If Charles gets George, then George is having to attack and defend.
Absolutely.
While Charles doesn't need to worry about it. He can just go, that would have been really good.
Yeah. Well, just to say, so Fred was pretty adamant afterwards that the reason why they didn't pit them is because they were absolutely adamant the tyres wouldn't have lasted, right? So their plan A, which you saw during the race, they said it on both radios, was lap 25. You're coming in at lap 25 to change for hards, and they weren't going to waver from that, even though they had 2 chances with the VSC, although the second one was unfortunately a close of pit lane. But I hear that, but then I see fucking Mercedes do it.
No,
on
and that's the thing that bothers me is like the whole point of
he's pulling
these.
his hair, guys.
I know,
He's really
I
worked
just
up.
realized it's bad. The whole
Put your hat
thing
back
is
on
like
for everyone's sake. I'm joking.
I guess
He's already fragile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
whole point though is like you're meant to be adaptable. That's the whole point of having a team and strategist there is like you don't stick to one plan and then no matter
just fucking stick to the gun.
Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
no, we're doing it. And then also, why don't they ever listen to Lewis?
Yeah.
It's like
It's a good question.
It's like, why don't he's there? He's fucking going, why aren't we boxing? And they're like, plan A, we're sticking to plan A. And then he just abides by it. It's like, if at some point I'd be
sure
like,
if we had
fuck you, I'm
access-
coming in.
Yeah,
I wish he'd
Russell
have come
would.
in and but not
Russell
pitted.
would. Yeah, Russell seems a lot more aggressive in calling the strategy. And I know we've spoken about this till the cows come home on previous episodes, but about the driver's intuition and the real raw understanding of what's happening in that moment for them to make the call. I think there was concern about double stacking, but again, Mercedes did it. All right, look, following the top 4, and just because obviously, Tay, it's only just dawned on me because you took it off and then put it back on. You've got a McLaren hat on. But in 5th, was the papaya of McLaren, the reigning world champion, Lando Norris. And honestly, lads, and I am usually
I didn't even know he was racing.
the defender of Norris on this podcast because you're all a bit fucking too full on with him. But honestly, for a man defending his title, that was a pretty anonymous Sunday. He crossed the line over 52 seconds off of Russell on the same tyres, the same track, the same supposed power unit. But Tay, Ev, as the defending champion, how alarmed should Lando be after round 1?
He's not going to get his championship back.
He's not going back to back. Ev, he's obviously, I mean, probably to your guys' great happiness, there's no way Lando at this moment looks like he's going to be in for hunting down a second world championship.
I mean, he didn't deserve the first one, but...
Okay. Actually, can I just say, and I shouldn't do this because I know I'm just baiting you too, but you know when Oscar went off and credit to Sky, they covered it so brilliantly, the way they moved so quickly, but they very quickly got access to Zach Brown and they were like, Zach, you must be devastated. Like, how's Oscar? And he's like, yeah, well, we've got another driver on the track. And, it was all about Lando. It was like, Oscar's a grown-up. He'll kind of get over it. It's just
Are
like...
we not surprised?
Don't tell me there's no favoritism in that team. Don't tell me that.
Like, I mean...
Well, yeah, it's confirmation bias for you guys. You just seek out the information that backs up your feelings and your beliefs anyway.
We're not a walking Wikipedia where we just throw in our own shit.
Yeah. Hey, all right then. In 6th place, voted driver of the day. Tay, you touched on it. Quickly becoming my favorite on the grid was Max Verstappen. And again, just to be clear, he started from P20. So uncharacteristically, he binned his car in qualifying 1. Again, one of those moments where I think all of us were like, what the fuck,
shit.
right? And he didn't partake in quali, who proceeded to spend 57 laps during the GP, just carving through the entire field to finish 6th. He set the fastest lap, and he was still visibly furious about it afterwards.
Hates the car.
He called it the most frustrating race of his career, and he was still annoyed. That is Max Verstappen in one paragraph. But if Max starts further up the grid, is he winning that race?
Probably not. If he started at 10th, I think George and Kimi both took their foot off the pedal for the second half of the race. That could have been such a big landslide for them.
Toto's please slow down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good thing that they finished and clearly have done well, being the first time they've got their own engine and things like that.
Yeah, great result. Again, obviously during testing, they do everything they can to break these engines.
Yes.
And I understand Red Bull had no real issues, but then they get to the first race and, yes, Max didn't have engine issues. He fucked his car up. But Hudge's car retiring is obviously shit news. Did he qualify third? I think he did.
Yeah,
didn't
he was third.
He qualified third. He had a terrible start. Again,
Yeah.
apparently an issue with the energy deployment off the grid. But Ev, do you know what happened? Does anyone know what that Hudge car issue was?
They don't know
or?
why Max crashed in qualifying.
Oh, yes. Sorry, can you recap that? So, yeah, that wasn't a normal crash, was it?
No.
His rear axle locked up.
His rear axle.
Which is a weird... There are brakes on the rear axle, but they're like used and they're tiny compared to the front brakes.
Yeah, okay. Not to do with the regs, or is that still,
I can only assume it had something to do with because he was on a qualifying lap.
Yeah.
So he would have... He's hitting the brakes to slow down for the corner at top speed. He would have just emptied out the battery. And so whether or not he was doing this super clipping thing, it just freaked out. And it's the same with Oscar. Like that car just freaked out in the software.
We'll get to that because there's something to talk about with Oscar's car.
Yeah.
And Isak, do we know, like, why did they retire his car?
I don't know.
All right. Okay. Well, there you go. All right. Well, look, rounding out the top 10 was actually a pretty interesting group in their own right. And quickly running through it. So in 7th, we had Ollie Behrman for Haas. So clear, composed, points on the board it's only his second season. I don't think there's much more to add here. There was a lovely battle between him and Lindblad later in the race. But speaking of, in 8th place for the Racing Bulls on his Formula One debut, 19 years old. He's never won F4, F3, or F2, which I couldn't understand how he ended up in F1. But he just turned up and he scored points in his first ever Grand Prix. He's the 3rd or 4th youngest point scorer in F1 history. And look, actually, 9th was Bortoletto for Audi, brand new constructor on the grid. They'll obviously take that.
Yeah, that's a
Pierre
great
Gasly for Alpine
result.
finished it off in 10th, which is, again, a big step forward for the Alpine team after a pretty disastrous last year. But Tay, before moving on, I want to just stop and dwell on Arvid. We're going to revisit predictions in a minute, but I can't ignore or glaze over the point that this time last week, you said that Lindblad would finish 5th. Now, both and Ev were like, what the fuck? And I deservedly at the time gave you a heap of shit.
Yeah, you did.
But he wasn't far off 5th.
Nah.
And to be fair, he was all the way up in 3rd at one point.
Yeah.
In line with his race result, his media interviews were also top class. My take
He also
qualied well too.
Yeah.
He's a seriously impressive individual. I was watching. Actually, it doesn't matter what I was doing when I was 19. But look, what did you think? What did you think? He seems like a cool dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's just really likable at the moment. I guess everything can change.
Yeah, it all starts well. Yeah.
And like he might change if he ever gets that Red Bull seat. But
don't start that.
Yeah, I know.
My fucking God, he has one
Could
good
you
race.
Imagine? I know.
Yeah,
imagine
Max.
Digby
He's
was
coming
here.
for Max's job.
Yeah, imagine his Diggers
He'd
is
be
here.
like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Can't
I
you
know,
guys
exactly.
just calm down about...
Yeah. But out of, if you look at the last 2 years in regards to the rookies who have come on, he's been arguably, at least from a first race perspective, probably the most successful one out of the last 2 years.
Look, his racing was awesome. And again, I still can't believe, and I know you were taking the piss or you were just throwing shit out there, that you genuinely picked Lindblad to finish in the top 10. But the most impressive thing for me for him was his interview. After the race, and it was so wonderful. And Ev, I'm sure you can attest to, I guess, the rawness of this, but also, I mean, this is the best thing about F1 when they're interviewing him and they're talking to him about his career and how much work he's had to do to get there, and he had a genuine tear in his eye. I think that's fucking awesome.
To have that
I'm
emotion.
all for this kid. I'm all for this kid. And actually, just on English drivers, now Alex Albon is English, but I believe he was born in Thailand.
It's Thai, not Singapore. Yeah.
However, the other 5 English drivers on the grid all finished in the top 10 on the weekend. So look, well done to Arvid. Maybe because you're the youngest, least probably paid, you might come on this show.
It's $500,000 a year.
We'll keep talking well about you. We'll get you on the show. Like Liam Lawson tends to do the bottom of the trough type media before they kind of start getting the big appeals. So you might be the chance.
Liam, do you know where Lindblad is?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Liam, come
Liam.
on. I'm not going to trash talk Liam right now, but that's, I mean, yeah. We don't need to go on the racing balls, but big difference between him, Lindblad, who's just driving so professionally, and Lawson, who's just calling Perez a fucking piece of shit the whole race and battling out with him.
Yeah, no, it's like he hasn't learned anything in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Like we're right back where we started.
Yeah, okay. Before we get into some of the bigger stuff, last week we made some predictions. We've obviously touched on Taze there, the fact he went bold and called Lindblad, got it in the top. He didn't get the prediction right, but he got close. We went on record, and I think it's only fair we settle up this publicly. I'm going to go first. I called Charles to win. Dun-dum. I called George and Max to round out the podium. For wildcard, I called both Alpines top 10, and with the biggest disappointment of the weekend, I called out Lewis not finishing on the podium. And I'd say that's pretty good, right? I got 2 of the top 3. I got 1 Alpine top 10 and Lewis not making the podium. I've given myself a 6 out of 10. Now,
between the 3 of us, we've done pretty well.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Tay, you called Oscar to win. That's a big bum.
Yeah,
right?
no shit.
Couldn't have got that more wrong.
Yeah.
You called Lewis and Charles on the podium. You got Charles. Obviously, didn't get Lewis. You called Lindblad to finish 5th as your wild card. And that your biggest disappointment for the weekend was that Max wasn't going to make the top 10.
I was almost fucking there.
Which looked maybe. Looked like a maybe after quality.
There.
Look, not awful. The Charles thing you got right.
Yeah, that was
you got
it.
some close, but unfortunately close does not get you the prom
3
queen,
out of
mate.
10.
So you get a 5 out of 10.
Oh,
right?
I would have put 3,
Fair enough.
but okay.
5.
That's
okay.
right.
No,
I'll bring our score back up to it. It's fine.
Yeah. And lastly, Evan, our apparent resident F1 expert, the bloke that when we started this show, we anchored on being the voice of knowledge and understanding. Well, you, sir, you are 100% our idiot of the fucking week. Let me play back your predictions for the weekend. First place, you had Lewis. He didn't even podium. You had Charles second. Yeah, okay, close. But in third, you had a Haas car. You refused to name who, but you doubled down on it as also your wild card. So that's a double wrong. And lastly, and this is my favorite, your biggest disappointment was that Antonelli would have a shit race. Who, as I remind you, after just running through the top 10, finished second, which is just behind the leader in case you needed clarification.
In my defense...
So you, Ev, you get 1 out of 10. You get 1 out of 10.
I thought the question was about qualifying. Antonelli, shit
No, Antonelli got second in qualifying, you clown.
No, when he had the accident.
That was FP3. We've already spoken.
I thought we were talking about FP3.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Whilst we've run through the top 10 finishes, I think there is a DNS that we need to continue talking about. So for all of those who are living under a rock, Oscar Piastri did not start the Melbourne Grand Prix. So during the recon lap, which is the lap the drivers do about 40 minutes before lights out to warm up the car, they check everything's working, they ease into the track conditions. Well, he was 4 turns in. He clipped a curb on the exit. He had obviously cold tyres, and with an accompanying sudden, what they're calling torque spike from the new power unit, he was thrown into the wall. Terminal damage, race over before it started. That Australian curse, built from the fact that no Aussie has ever won the Australian Grand Prix. Well, that same Aussie curse literally grabbed a shovel, stood in front of Oscar, and smacked him in the dick as hard as it possibly could. And hence another year is going to go on with no Aussie GP winner. But there's a layer underneath it that we need to pull back because this isn't just a bad luck story. This might be somewhat more of a scandal, allegedly.
Sabotage!
So, gents, that torque spike, it turns out it isn't a freak accident. It's a known characteristic of these 2026 power units, apparently. A sudden surge of power that on cold tyres, on a cold track, the car simply cannot handle. And what has come out after the race is that McLaren, who buy and run a Mercedes power unit, were essentially operating in the dark. Their team principal, Stella, said the discussion with Mercedes about getting more information had been going on for weeks. And here's the number that pulls it all into context. McLaren finished 52 seconds behind Russell. Same tyres, same track, same supposed power unit. And Stella's own words after the race was, "We remain a little puzzled by the difference we see in the data between the speed of our car and the speed of others using the same power unit." Puzzled? The world champions puzzled? So you've got 2 facts sitting right next to each other. The torque spike that took Piastri out before he even got to the grid and the 52-second gap that suggests McLaren and Mercedes were simply not operating at the same level on Sunday. Gents, is this a brewing scandal or just part and parcel of what happens when you're the customer and not the manufacturer?
No, as James Vowles was saying, Mercedes are really good at giving you the exact product that you buy. Mercedes were like, here you go, and then closes the doors behind you.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you do have to figure some of this out for yourself, don't you?
Yeah, fair point. Okay. Yeah.
Nobody's going to hold your hand.
No, exactly.
Ferrari don't do it.
Okay.
Ford and Red Bull wouldn't do that.
Honda doesn't do anything.
Well, yeah.
Honda doesn't do it.
Yeah. But I'd like to know if that was still the same case last year. Or like last,
is it like the issues that the drivers that didn't finish well in the race complaining about the new regs? Is it just a case that this has come up because Mercedes did so well?
What had
the other teams did.
For context, before, I think it was one corner before, or maybe it was on the back. No, it wasn't on the back straight. Anyway, doesn't matter. Oscar was trying to build up boost, and it didn't build up.
Yes, I did hear this.
And you can see it on his steering wheel that there's nothing there. So the turbo wasn't spun up effectively. And then 2 corners later, it's as if the turbo, like in an old,
just kicked
like
in.
Widowmaker.
It was buffering.
Like a Widowmaker, like the old 911 turbos are famously bad for this, where you go into the corner and then you don't get the turbo until halfway through, and you're just and then you spin out.
Power sliding.
Yeah. And so it seems that obviously there's no understanding on their side as to why it wasn't generating boost when it was supposed to. I don't know why this didn't happen to anybody else either. And before you point to conspiracies, we can
just
already
it out there.
we can already say that obviously Red Bull don't know what's going on, and they've got they're their own works team, and they don't know why their car tried to kill their own driver. Effectively,
I think it's across. I think it's across the paddock though that everyone is still trying to understand what these machines can do.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I mean, look, I just bring it up because Andrea's called it out. James Vowles has called it out. If I'm being really honest, and if I want to take a non-technical perspective of this, I think there's a lot of very jealous people of Mercedes.
Yeah.
In Formula One at the moment. In and around Formula One.
I reckon this is Stella, and then Zach is like, say this.
But they had all of pre-season. They've had 3, testing sessions over multiple days. Why they wouldn't have that great line in The Fifth Element when Gary Oldman gives those monsters the gun that fires everything, and he's like, you know what? Like a good killer, a good killer would say, "What does the red button do?" Before pressing it. And so, why it is that you've gone into a race, into the season, and you haven't, as James Vowles, I think it was Vowles that was talking about how they effectively tried to kill the engine.
Yes, that's
and
right.
to terminate it, to run it so hard, and they couldn't. So why it is you haven't tried to find these mistakes? Before now
beforehand.
And I know that it's very, as a Mercedes fan, although I'm not a fan of George or Kimi, the smugness, the pollution of smug that was emanating from Toto, and we've got another story.
I don't want to hate Toto.
Talk about it.
So
I love it. You can't hate him. You can't hate him.
But,
hey, look, I'll tell you what, gents. If you're a fan of any of those teams, Alpine, Williams, McLaren, or work for any of those teams, you'll certainly be ensuring that you have been paying attention to Mercedes. Yes, that is right, ladies and gents. With that epic segue, we have arrived at this week's quiz. Round 3, Evan. Round 3, 1 + 1 + 1 of Hush.
It's won and lost by the buzzer.
For those new to the show, this is F1's greatest quiz, that is self-proclaimed, that seeks to unearth F1's biggest idiot. And in good news for my two hosts, it's usually one of them. We've got 8 questions, China edition. First 6, you got to buzz in, answer first. You get it wrong, the other person can have a swing. The last 2 questions, you lose points if you get it wrong. So think before you open your mouth. Gents, as always, it is buzzer time. I want to hear him.
Tay's excited.
Tay's excited. You can see it on his face.
You gotta fucking
What do you got? I gotta say, sorry. If anyone hasn't listened to last week's episode, just do me a favor and go back and listen to the quiz, because my best part was Ev and his succulent Chinese meal, and obviously the running of that and the background. I mean, you touched my penis. Right, Tay, what have you got?
I can't even come back from it. Now it's even going to be shitter. It's like it's got nothing. In light of Max's distaste to the new cars.
Yeah.
And then also the fact that my little one has started saying a certain phrase.
Fuck.
Oh, God.
Yeah. No likey? No likey?
No like. Oh, okay. Jesus. Yeah. Okay. I'm leaving it. It's good. I'll leave it.
It's still got to do with Max saying, like,
I get it, Max. He doesn't like the new regs. Yeah.
And that was Tay trying.
Shut up, Bev.
If you could do me a favor and just be that rising tide to lift all boats right now, if you wouldn't mind.
In honor of
the
race and in honor of last week's quiz, today's buzzer, if you please. No, Batmania. No, Batmania.
Not bad. So look, again, for those that missed last week's episode, one of the questions was pertaining to the Melbourne Grand Prix, of which it was about what was the first or the original name of Melbourne, which was Batmania, because it was something like John Batman had founded, or whatever you call it, discovered Melbourne. Anyways, okay, there you go. I mean, like I said, if you guys want to...
What is this, Flinders Street?
That's Batmania, baby. Right, buzzers are done. Away we go. Question number 1. Who was the first Chinese driver ever to race in Formula 1? Oh,
my God. No likey, just because you got a Zhou.
You got a rest of the name? You can't just say out like...
No, Batman. No, Batman.
I'm going to give him... He's got it. It's Batmania, by the way.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Tay. 3, 2...
Why can't I think of his
Batmania
fucking full name?
What do you got, Ev?
Zhou Guanyu.
Yeah.
You are right, baby.
Swish.
That's it. He's stolen it. Swish, Kobe. That's right. It was Zhou Guanyu. He raced for Alfa Romeo and then staked from 2022 to 2024. 3 seasons in F1. And for a bit of trivia on top of the trivia, he's actually in Melbourne last weekend because he's Cadillac's reserve driver.
Did you actually know that, Ev? Or...
I know who Zhou Guanyu is.
Yeah, no, I know
it's
you
just
know.
The first Chinese name
I
you could think
I
of.
thought that there may have been some random guy in the 70s who did like one race or something.
Yao Ming.
Yeah, Yao Ming.
Yeah,
Imagine
he wears the Formula 1 cars as shoes. Look at my new Crocs. Right, question number 2. Which driver on the current grid has the most wins at the Chinese Grand Prix?
No likey.
What you got?
Lewis?
What's his last name?
Hamilton.
Yeah, just checking. Just fucking checking. You are right. Oh my gosh, this is the first time in 3 weeks that we have gotten both questions right to start off. So that's right, Lewis. He has 6 wins at Shanghai, more than any other driver in the history of the race. He also won the sprint here last year, his first ever win in a Ferrari, if you want to count it, which we don't. So we're 1-1. Question number 3. The 2019 Chinese Grand Prix was the 1,000th Grand Prix. Where and when was the 500th Grand Prix?
Fucking hell.
That's not your buzzer.
No,
stab. Yeah, what do you got, Ev?
Monaco.
Can you give me a year? Look at their brains. This is like the meme where there's just
Zach Galifianakis.
82 or something. I'm going to say 82.
Wrong. Both wrong. Both place and time. Tay, you going to have a stab? Be very quick. Listeners are eagerly on the edges of their seats.
Spa 98.
Wrong. It was Australia in 1990. Adelaide, for those listening last week and weren't sure of when Adelaide had the Grand Prix.
There was a fact mentioned during the race, which I have. It's been embedded in my head.
Are we going to hear about it, or are you just going to talk
Well,
about
that being the 70th.
No, because I don't know if it's going to be a question.
Oh, okay. Well,
And
tell me at the end.
it was a really good.
Well, let me tell you.
It was a really good piece of trivia.
Okay. Well,
Anyway.
This last question is the only F1 related because the
for
final
fuck's
4
sake.
questions are
It's gonna
China
be
culture
food.
related.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So if it's not this one, please bring it up. Right, question 4, and I'm sure it wasn't this one. What was the podium at last year's Chinese Grand Prix? And a bonus point, what happened after the race?
Batmania.
Yep, podium.
Look, Lewis first.
Wrong.
And
Lewis
they-
didn't win a race last year.
He won the sprint race.
Fuck me. The podium for the race.
And what
big
you know what
guy.
they did straight after? They left. They went
Yeah,
home.
okay, good.
There you
Well,
go.
there you go, everybody.
Win, more points on the
Kevin Locke.
board.
Tay, you gonna have a stab at that one?
Yeah, Max.
Wrong.
Was he not even on the podium?
Nope. But
Oh.
you also got to try and give them in order.
Say
Can't just
Perez.
randomly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who won it last year? Oh, it must have
Piastri.
been. Oh, it was Piastri. Yeah.
Piastri, Norris in second, and Russell in third.
Yeah.
And then after the race, both Ferrari drivers and Gasly were disqualified. So 2 of them, I think Gasly and Charles, had the planking issue or the
It
fuel
was
issue,
the planking.
underweight issue, and one had a planking.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's
All right, so
right.
still 1-all. Eva's
hell, that
looking
was
to try and
shocking.
fact check me on something here. What are you doing, Evan?
I
can
can't
see you
remember the
typing.
point of the thing I was
You've
talking about.
forgotten. You've forgotten the
Holy
thing that's
shit.
nerds
No,
in your...
it was like who was the last Englishman to do a 1-2 or something? And it was Fangio. Well, he's not English, but it was Fangio
Brilliant.
and Jackie Stewart
But how
in
is that English?
1955. No,
Wait, was
I
it the
don't-
last time?
maybe it was the last time.
Is it the last time Mercedes did 1-2
Yes,
in the
it
opening
was.
race?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
1-2.
Anyways, whatever. Question 5. China is a massive country. It
Oh, is it?
spans 5 geographical time zones, but the entire country runs on just one. What is it called?
What, the time zone?
Yeah. So, like here in Sydney, it's
No, I
Australian
understand
Eastern
how
Standard Time.
zones
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, well, yeah,
And
so
then
what's
here
the-
for me is Pacific
Yeah.
Standard Time.
So-
Yeah, they're not on GMT.
So what are they on?
Presumably.
What is China on? 5
Some sort of-
seconds.
Communist time.
I
4, 3. Beijing time. Beijing time.
That makes
it's
sense.
that simple.
yeah,
Right.
that makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, so the whole country is on one time
Right.
zone, which means in the far west of China, the sun doesn't rise until 10 a.m. in winter. Imagine trying to explain that to someone who complains about the clocks going back here in Australia or Queensland.
Yeah, right.
All right, question number 6, still 1-all. This is a shit question, I'm not going to lie, but it's culturally interesting. The Shanghai International
offensive.
Circuit paddock sits beside a lake that was designed to mirror a famous Shanghai landmark. Which one? Just admit you both don't know. We'll skip this one. Just look at him. No,
Yeah,
I'm going to cut you
Batmania.
off.
Batmania.
Yeah, I
It'll
should
be
cut you
something
off.
like some royal garden.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be
Ooh.
something like the Hidden City. Is it the Hidden City?
No. Whatever you.
Royalty
Is it like
Gardens?
Emperor's
Yeah,
Garden?
yeah.
Emperor's
Was it?
dress?
Was it
You know what,
Chairman?
Ev? I'm going to give you half a point for
Fuck
that. 'cause
off.
it-
Yeah, yeah.
No. No,
That's-
it's the Yew Garden,
Right.
also known as the. It took me 3 years to get Joe Guan Yu's name right. It's also known as the Waiwan Garden.
Oh my god. Yeah, right.
Huawei Garden. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a historic Ming Dynasty garden right in the
Cool.
heart of old Shanghai. It was
I
built
like
in
it.
1559, which means that the garden is older than the F1 by about 400 years.
I like this for me.
Yeah.
There you go. You're
I
up
know,
by half a point.
That's
half
bullshit.
a point.
Fuck
No,
no.
fair
that
enough.
was- that
I'm
was-
I'm
No, it
actually
isn't.
really
It's not.
impressed. I'm really impressed in you as a garden. Right. Question 7, boys. You are going to lose points if you get this wrong. So think before you buzz. Actually, please don't. Just jump in. It's much funnier. Question number 7. Builders of the Great Wall of China used an unusual ingredient in the mortar to hold the stones together. It's part of the reason sections of it have survived for over 1,500 years. What was it? Ev's like pretending he's racking his brain like he's come across this before.
Yeah, well, I got a half a point last time,
what
but
would
like,
I have used?
I
No, there's
logically
no half
figured it
points.
out last
If
time.
you don't
No,
fucking
well,
get it,
Yeah, you
you're
get it
out.
wrong. Yeah, you lose points here.
Was it the same part of the wall where who was that magician and he pretended to walk through the wall? David Copperfield.
Not David Blaine.
David
Oh,
Copperfield.
David Copperfield. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Lots of people aren't old enough to remember that reference.
All right, quick, 5 seconds.
Nah.
4. This
What
is
would
also
they
not the one to
use?
take a stab at, Tay,
No.
because you don't want
exactly.
to lose points on this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, the
I
answer
don't know what they could have
is
used. Yeah.
sticky rice.
What?
Glutinous rice flour mixed into the mortar. So actual sticky rice. Some sections of the wall are still standing largely because of it, which means the Great Wall of China has essentially been glued together with a dim sim ingredient for a millennium and a half.
What does that
Quite
mean if you
remarkable.
constantly eat that then?
No, I think it's not like it's not, fucking hell. Fuck. Right, yeah. Question number 8. All right, this is the last one.
I
Ev is
cannot
ahead by
believe
half a
I'm going
point.
to fucking lose this because of
Ev,
half
you
a
said at
point.
the beginning of this episode that you were winning 2-1. You might have actually been
Shut the fuck up.
manifesting, mate.
Prescient,
Manifesting.
yes.
Yeah.
This is bullshit. Half a point.
right, here we go.
Bullshit.
The world's most visited paid tourist attraction is in China. What is it? And roughly how many visitors does it get per year? Do you know what? If you get it right of what it is, I'll let you have it. You don't have to guess the second part of the question because I don't remember writing it.
I have to have a stab anyway because
You have to.
otherwise, yeah.
You have
All
to.
right, no, like, yeah, it's got a Great Wall.
You don't. No, wrong.
Taylor.
Wrong.
Taylor.
Ev, I'll give you a free stab at this one just because even if you lost the points, you
Yeah.
still win by
Yeah,
half a
yeah,
point
that's true. That's
because of the
true.
garden.
The only other thing
You mentioned it before.
Oh, it's the
the Lost City, not Lost City,
The Forbidden City.
the Forbidden City.
It is.
Is that where
Approximately-
Tiananmen Square is?
yeah.
Oh, you're asking the wrong person.
Oh,
Are
okay.
you sure about that, Tay? You were so confident.
Oh, poor
You
Tay.
couldn't even. Anyways, approximately 19 million visitors a year, which, yeah,
Those-
is pretty
right.
incredible. So scores, boys. Ev, 2-1.
Boom.
You're
Ming.
on 2. You're on 2. Ming, not Kobe. Ming.
He doesn't shoot. He just
You're
walks
on
up to
2.
the ring and just
Digby's
drops it
on
in.
1. And Tay, even though
What's
Digby's been away
nuts?
for the last 2 weeks, you are still
I
not
know.
beating him.
What's nuts is that last year I was doing great.
That's early days, man. We've got fucking 38,
Yeah.
37 more to go.
Yeah.
Right. After that China trivia, let's talk China this weekend. And not a normal weekend either. So we've mentioned it previously in this episode. This is a sprint weekend, the first of 2026, which means everything is compressed, everything is higher stakes. And if you had a bad Friday, you could be absolutely cooked. So let me explain what that actually means for anyone who hasn't done one of these before. Normal race weekend, you have 3 practice sessions, a qualifying, and then a race. The sprint weekend, you have 1 practice session on Friday. Then you go straight into sprint qualifying that same Friday evening. The sprint race is the next afternoon, which you get points for placing in the top 8. Followed by the GP qualifying later that afternoon to set up Sunday's Grand Prix. Starts the same, ends the same, but the middle is pretty fucking chaotic. Tay, we tend to be fairly hot and cold about the sprint format. It's now in its 4th year. There are rumours about increasing again the number of sprints. It started at 3, we're at 6. Do you love it? Do you hate it? And given what we've just watched in Melbourne, does the idea of even less practice time with these new cars get you excited or scare the shit out of you?
I think because of what these cars are like right now, just purely on Australia, I think sprint could be really fun.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I don't know how it could be great because it's a track that's not sprinty.
Okay. Fair
But
point. Here we are.
I'm excited to be
Yeah.
proven wrong.
Do you know what I am genuinely excited about? Is a whole weekend of F1. Fuck, it was good to have it back last weekend.
And you've
I
been
did not
watching
move off
F2
my
as well,
TV.
haven't you?
I have been watching the F2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed that.
Yep.
That's been really great. The racing in it is
Are
unbelievable.
those cars also hybrid?
I don't think so.
Their regulations.
I mean, actually,
are
you're
so
asking the wrong
different.
person.
I don't
Yeah.
think
This is
they
idiots
are.
of F1, not idiots of F2. I don't know.
There's a
I
franchise
don't know.
spin-off.
There
Yeah.
you go. Hey, let's talk the circuit for just a minute because Ev, you've just touched on there that it's not a great sprint track. Actually, if you're like me and forget which track is which, or those of you who've never fucking known the track, let us tell you a little bit about it. So Shanghai International Circuit, it's 56 laps for the Grand Prix. It was built on a marshland or a swamp, if you're being less polite. Just in 18 months, they took to build it, and it cost something like $450 million to do so. The first race was in 2004, and that back straight, which Ev was talking about at the beginning of the ep, that's 1.2 kilometers long. And then it goes into a really big hairpin. It's arguably the best overtaking spot on the entire calendar. Ev will tell me if I'm wrong there. Big speed, heavy braking, late apex, proper racing. As we noted earlier, the energy farming and deployment issues heralded by the drivers should hopefully not be a problem here. This is actually a circuit that these regulations were probably designed for. And as I said, the FIA must be aware of that because they're waiting for this weekend's data before making any changes to the regulations. Ev, Tay, does knowing Shanghai suits these cars better make you more optimistic about what we'll see? No.
Did you just brain fart? Like, what the fuck
Well, it's the sort of thing where, like, when the season is popular,
I see.
It's a rising tide. And so I kind of don't want to, like, shit can this because we'll get less listeners next week. But yeah, I think this is a track that was designed for DRS. If you don't have enough energy to get around Melbourne, how are you going to go around a longer track?
Yeah, I don't quite understand that, but it's obviously to do with the harvesting and deployment points.
Yeah, exactly. It's the tighter corners and the braking.
Yeah, I know. But then that's not going to make it better racing if you got better harvesting.
Well, but the thing is, I want to know what that back straight's going to be like because it sounds like even when you
in
deploy,
Melbourne, they were
running out. Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but again,
that's something that's I wanted to touch on is there's always been lift and coasting.
Yes.
But it has never been obvious.
A 50 kilometer per hour
It's never
slowdown.
like just on TV, it doesn't look obvious. And the sound of the engines, the sound of the engine was never obvious before. It's always been there because it's how you save fuel. But to do it now at Melbourne, it was almost humiliating.
Well, that's
you kind of feel like the driver's like, don't look at me.
Yeah. It's like when a dog's taking a shit and it just keeps looking at you. It's like, don't look at me.
Yeah.
The dog is making sure that you're protecting it. That's why it's looking at
you. When my dog looks at me, it's like, fuck, man. Like, don't be embarrassed. Just take a shit.
Your dog, your German Shepherd is like, hey, buddy, I think you got a job.
Yeah.
You better get to it.
Right. So, look, what should you be looking out for and what are our predictions? So, Mercedes are the obvious favourites, and at this point, I'm not sure what argument you'd make against them.
Yeah.
The team look organised, they're quick, they're very confident. We've all seen the T-shirt. The question isn't whether they're fast, it's whether anyone can close the gap on a circuit that should suit them even more than Melbourne did. So Ferrari will want to make a statement. They had the pace in Melbourne and a strategy call that may have cost them at least another podium, or maybe even a win. We don't know. Leclerc knows this track. Hamilton knows this track better than anyone. If Ferrari can get the strategy right this time, surely they're an absolute in the conversation. And then there's McLaren and Red Bull question. So we talked about it in the review. McLaren were 50 seconds behind Mercedes. The defending champion is already on the back foot. You've got Piastri looking to bounce back in what people are donning his second home race. The context there is that apparently Oscar is like 1/16th Chinese. I'm not sure what the actual ratio is.
What the fucking point is that?
Well, he made a comment, and now everybody refers to the fact that China is like
his second home.
Anyways, Red Bull, on the other hand, well, they're still very much unknown. So George seems most worried about Max. Like, you saw it in the post race. I actually think that George is shit scared of Max in general. I think he intimidates the fuck out of him. And then there's Hajar, right? So he's shown he's clearly worth keeping an eye on. Shanghai could and probably should suit Red Bull a bit better. If that car gives both of them a clean run this weekend, they could also be in the mix. So with all that, gents, it's time for your predictions. So what I need from you both is race winner, rest of the podium, sprint winner, one surprise from the whole weekend. So take your pick. It could be sprint, it could be race, quali, and one disappointment from the whole weekend. Ev, you've got the most ground to make up. so I'm going to go to you first, mate. So give me your race winner.
I'm gonna.
This is race winner, not
I'm
sprint
gonna be
winner.
edgy. I'll be edgy
yeah.
here. I'll play devil's advocate. George is gonna win again. Oh, I know it. I know it. I know what you're thinking.
That's what makes this so hard. Is like when it's like this,
Do
we're
you
all
go
gonna have the
obvious
same
or do you try-
fucking.
Nah.
And you gave me shit for being out of the box last
Boring.
week. Yeah.
Right, Ev, who's second and third? Rest of the podium in the race?
I'm going to say Kimi and then Lewis.
Okay, all right. Sprint winner? Any different?
Probably not.
Okay, so
Yeah.
George again.
You know what? Did we? Sorry to interrupt. Do we know? We all knew beforehand that Aston Martin were kind of not contesting this weekend at Melbourne, and they're not going to contest
No.
China.
No,
as well.
apparently
But
they're
they
not
could
till
do
Japan.
they could do in the sprint.
True. I doubt it, but true.
You never know.
Could you
Wouldn't
imagine
that be amazing?
Lance?
Are you going to throw that out? Is that your surprise from the whole weekend?
That'll be my
that
surprise.
Aston finishes what, top 10 in the sprint?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There's your surprise. And the disappointment. Well, who's your biggest disappointment? What's your prediction on who will be the biggest disappointment of the weekend?
Hadjar.
Shit, that's cool.
I think he's
Yeah, I
got
like
one. I think he's done well once. And
quality. Yep.
yeah, I think
Is he going to Kimmy it?
I don't know. I think all of this shit that I don't like about Mercedes, like the nerds that they are, obsessing over the fine details of harvest here, harvest there, do that.
What's your head doing this?
I think.
Don't worry about it. Don't ask questions. Just let him keep going. What's your point about Hadjar and Mercedes then? What are the nerds doing
what's
to
the
poor old
nerds doing?
Hadjar?
I can't remember my point now.
Yeah, cool. Tay, race winner. Let's move quick. Let's go. George, rest of the podium.
Kimmy Lewis.
Oh, God. Sprint winner.
Unbelievable.
Lewis.
Get your own answers.
Oh, you're going Lewis again. Okay. Your surprise for the weekend? Surprise, motherfucker.
Behrman being in the top 5.
Okay. There you go. And your disappointment?
Oscar outside of 10.
Ouch. Okay. Some of those are actually quite good. I like those. For what it's worth, here are mine. My race winner is Lewis. The rest of the podium will be George and Max. The sprint winner will be Russell. And my surprise from the weekend is that Hadjar will finish within 10 seconds of Max, which I think everybody would agree is a very good outcome for the number 2 driver. And my disappointment from the whole weekend is that McLaren finished the GP, sprint obviously excluded, with less than 10 points. So it's got to be 7th and below for both of those guys. Final segment for today's epic slog. What's Verstappen in our very own part of the interruption? I've got 4 major headlines happening in the F1 world in the last 7 days. And I got to tell you, these ones are good. As always, Jeds, you've got 30 seconds each from you both. I'll set you up. You react, starting with topic number 1. F1's social admin in comment curation overdrive. So we touched on this earlier. F1 posted about Melbourne on their socials after the race and quietly hid over 1,000 replies. This is a sport that just reported $3.9 billion in revenue, and they're hiding comments from the people who pay for the tickets, the subscriptions, and the merchandise because they don't like what they're saying about the racing. Is this a sport that's getting too big for its boots and starting to control the narrative rather than own it? And what point does hiding criticism become more damaging than just letting people have their say? Ev, 30 seconds, go.
I did not even know this happened.
Yeah, this is bad.
Yeah, I kind of don't.
But just to be clear, they're not it's not the issue that they're hiding vulgar comments or racist comments or swear words. These are people that are just blatantly saying, that sucked, the old cars.
Yeah,
they're just challenging the regulations.
Opinion.
It's an opinion.
Yeah.
They're deleting it all. They've been deleting it all.
I don't know. That sounds like a shit job, by the way.
Having been on that side of the fence, managing that for international teams, it is a shit job.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Did you guys do it?
No.
Cut to black. Cut that out.
Tay, 30 seconds, go.
It's a slippery slope. I don't think they should be doing that. I think everyone's entitled to have an opinion. They should actually be taking it as constructive criticism and learning from it.
Particularly the F1, who says they are all about the fans.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're just shooting themselves in the foot if that is really what they're doing.
Yep. Okay. All right. Number 2 is a goodie. Toto versus Horner, the Alpine bidding war. Right. This one is genuinely extraordinary. So Christian Horner, we know, was dismissed from Red Bull last year. He's been in term discussions with Alpine for a stake and role as team principal in the second half of this year, I think it was. Apparently, recently, Toto Wolff, who has just won the first race of the season, has decided that that wasn't enough, and he swooped in and is now in talks with Mercedes to buy Alpine himself, so apparently making a bid that is more than Horner's. Gents, aside from the question of how much money do the blokes have, surely F1 needs both of them. And, as a side, wasn't it only a couple of years ago that Toto was complaining about Red Bull having 2 teams? Ev, go.
This is so delicious.
Look at you salivating. I can see it written all over you.
Don't moan like that.
Yeah, I don't know why this came about now. It's so very Austrian of Toto to be like, oh, hey, we'll miss you.
Yeah.
He's
Get a
very
haircut.
protected. And then, like, in the back of his mind, it's like, how can I
fuck him?
It's like you said before,
take
the
his
smugness.
world down?
The
Yeah.
smugness.
He was
is
so
just like,
smug.
Yeah.
The smugginess.
The last I heard, this has been going on for a while. The last I heard about it was that Christian needed to get like hedge fund backing.
Yeah, exactly.
He himself doesn't have
No.
like $250 million or something.
Jerry might.
I doubt it.
Toto might. Toto's worth.
I know.
Well, yeah.
I also, so whatever happens will happen. I think it's fabulous. What I will say is that
Drama, baby.
Alpine have got Mercedes engines for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
You're like, shit, this is...
Fuck.
Christian
just go, fuck.
Toto doesn't just have the advantage of being able to up the ante. He's also got an inside line.
Good leverage. Yep. All right, Tay.
I sort of find it a conflict, and I don't know what he aims to, what his agenda is for this, apart from just
money,
fucking
money.
Christian.
Yeah.
Well, obviously,
no,
but
it's money.
like,
You're not playing. I mean, again, Alpine. I think we're talking 25%.
is this my opinion or is it yours?
Well, I'm just saying, like they're worth $1.5 billion minimum a team, right? So
yeah.
We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, no,
for
100%. Well, it's only meant to be. It's less than 30% stake in it. It's not meant to be the full stake.
No, I know. That's why I said 25%.
I didn't hear that bit. Yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling iffy about it. I don't know why he wants.
It is weird.
Yeah, and
well,
yeah. I don't know.
Does have a background in financial management as well,
for sure. Like I get all that. Like he's seeing it as an investment point of view, obviously.
Yes.
But can I? Okay, so sorry, different.
But why
question.
now?
But different. Well, yeah, because he's just won a race.
But
Toto, the winner's back.
I just want to finish off my thing.
Yeah.
I want Christian to win out on this because I actually want him back in the sport.
Okay, stop there because that's my next point.
Yeah.
And I actually got 2 points, but we're going to have to wrap this up. The first one is, how does it work? Does that mean Mercedes owns Alpine and Renault, the brand, or it's just the F1 teams?
It's just the F1 team.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. And then the second question, and Tay, this might get you a little bit more excited, is this doesn't mean that Christian Horner is out of F1 because the other massive news circulating in the last couple of days is that Adrian Newey is out as team principal. So he was obviously stay at Aston Martin and Horner's going there because...
That I did not hear about.
Yeah. This is the latest. I mean, you got to stay
I
on
was
the
gonna
pulse.
say-
but that's the thing.
Pulse.
No, for sure. But that's what I'm curious about is we all know that Christian wants legitimate ownership of a team.
Maybe Lawrence needs fucking money, man. Who fucking knows?
What if Toto wins
Buys
out?
Aston?
No. If he wins out at Alpine and buys the stake in Alpine, and then Toto like hires Christian as an employee,
he won't. He won't do it. Christian's not going to take that job.
All right, come on. Next one. Topic number 3. Bahrain and Saudi almost certainly cancelled. So the FIA is expected to make an announcement by the 20th of March. Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, which is round 4 and 5. We touched on this last week. Almost certainly gone. and by all accounts, they're not going to be replaced, which leaves a gap between Japan at the end of March and Miami at the end of April, and likely looking at a 22-race season instead of 24. Gents, why wouldn't the F1 look to replace these races? Or are they using the cover of these cancellations to sort out their regs issues and buy them some time? Ev, go. 30 seconds. We've got to move.
I think it's both things. I think that it would be too costly to do that, and also the convenience of buying themselves 3 weeks maybe of time.
Yeah. What are we going to do with that time? Okay. All right. So again, good. That was easy. You tick the boxes.
You're welcome.
Tay, you're welcome.
I mean, yeah, I agree with Ev. It's probably like an advantage to both things. It's a shame that they can't fill it in, but also I don't know.
Well, they can. They can. Apparently, Imola and Portugal are ready to go.
Yeah, but not in the sense of like the logistics of actually doing it. They're saying they can't.
Okay.
So, but it might give them that saving grace to be able to sort out shit. I don't know what they can do in that time. It's not particularly long. It's less than a month.
Do you know what that time will do? Will tell us in time. We will know more soon. More soon. Last topic, and this is fascinating. This is very fascinating. Topic number 4. Did I say 5? 4. BYD, Build Your Dreams, as F1's 12th team. So BYD, the world's biggest electric vehicle manufacturer, so bigger than Tesla, sorry Elon, based in Shenzhen, is apparently in advanced talks to enter Formula One as the 12th team. This was announced this week in China GP week, the week F1 goes to Shanghai. It's not subtle,
we get it.
And it's not accidental, and it is very, very on brand for how Liberty Media operates. But gents, an 11th team has only just joined. A 12th would be unprecedented. I even heard James Vowles on the weekend talking about the fact that it's not financially sustainable for 11 teams. He's worried about the reality of what's going to happen financially. But if BYD bring the same energy they've brought to the global car industry into F1, does that excite you? Ev?
Have they mentioned what engine they'd get?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
That's what I wanted.
Yeah. It was funny. So when I was doing it, well, no, I'm assuming it would be theirs, right? They would be producing.
They don't know how to work combustion.
Well, they're not all electric. BYD's not all electric.
Oh, are they not?
No, because actually, so I had to research this because I was going to be like, fuck, if they needed anything to further suggest the idea they're moving towards more of Formula E, this is not the announcement to make.
No, exactly.
But so I looked it up. No, BYD do combustion cars as well. They do both. Yeah, I thought they were only electric, but that's just what we see on the roads here.
They've got, I think they may even be the biggest for sales volume over the last year or two.
Yeah.
Not just electric
cars.
America. Well, yeah, not in America. I love this. I want more, as I've always said.
Really?
When you look
I thought for sure
races
you'd
in like
this.
the 60s, 70s, and 80s, you'd have
like
100 cars. That's what I want.
Yeah. The BYD six-wheeler.
Yeah, I want ridiculous, wacky races. If anybody's old enough to remember wacky races.
Yeah, of course.
I want that. And it's always been really weird to me that you only have 10 teams up until this year. Because there's just cars like poodling around.
Yeah.
Whereas I want cars on
just
every
gridlock.
corner of the map. Yeah, I want gridlock.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. You caught me there. That's fascinating. Tay, what's your take?
Yeah, I guess you answered the question in regards to I thought they were fully electric. I didn't realize they had a mixture of both. So makes more sense. And especially, with the current, like, I don't know what that means because I don't see them coming in. They wouldn't be coming in for this next 5-year period. They'd come at the next.
Like, they'd be like 2030.
Yeah. So does that mean like, what's the talk in regards to the next set of regs? Are we doing 75-25 type shit?
Yeah, they were talking about going back to just
see what happens in China.
Yeah. So, I mean, if they can make it work, I'm curious to see why Vowles reckons it's financially not even doable with 11 teams.
Because I don't think a lot of those teams are profitable.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue, right? Like
but a lot of them aren't good either.
Yeah.
So, why am I
that.
going to be putting my watch brand on your car?
Do you know what would be wicked? If they had promotion and relegation in F1. Like in
Yeah.
F2, you just have like whatever, Lamborghinis there, fucking Holden, they're obviously dead. But,
GMC.
Mini Cooper, whatever, right? Whoever can afford to run an F2 car and you win that, you get promoted to the F1 and then you get all the different developers. That'd be fucking sick.
I mean, interesting way of doing things. I don't know how you could do it.
Hey, look, man, we're here to mix shit up, all right? Speaking of mixing shit up, that's what we've done tonight. That's it. That's a wrap. And honestly, not bad for 3 people. We kicked off with the big debate, the Mario Kart era or the future of F1. And I don't think we settled it, which is probably about right, given nobody else has either. We ran through Melbourne. We settled the prediction scorecard. We turned straight around and previewed China. And we covered off what's Verstappen in around everything else. Next week, we'll be back to review China. Again, we'll have actual race results to hold each other accountable to, which, given the predictions we just made, should be absolutely brilliant radio. If you've enjoyed this one, and I think we've earned it today, please like, subscribe, leave a review wherever you listen. Tell one person who's never watched F1 that the Chinese Grand Prix is this Sunday. The race starts at, fuck knows. Look it up wherever the fuck you are. As we bid you goodbye, I do want to leave you with this. It might be a Chinese proverb that I think is perfect for us idiots. He who asks a question remains a fool for 5 minutes. He who does not ask remains a fool forever. See you next week. Bye.
Bow, bow, bow.
You fools.